Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. I'm David Ward, and in today's topic, we're going to be dealing with listening to the radio reading service on your Amazon Echo. So this is another specialized episode dealing with features that might be especially applicable to those that have visual impairments or who are in fact totally blind, which is what the radio reading services in various states were implemented and designed for. But you can listen to that on your Amazon Echo. So we'll talk more about the nitty-gritty of that in this episode, but until then, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, welcome back. So I'm David Ward, an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today, especially if you're a new listener. And for those that have been listening for some time, we thank you for listening as well. So this is going to be a specialized episode really geared towards those with visual impairments or who are totally blind and the radio reading service. So just to give you a little history about what I'm talking about, and by all means, if this isn't maybe directly applicable to yourself, feel free to skip this episode, but you might find it interesting, especially if maybe you have friends or family members that have vision problems. They might find this useful. So back to the history. Way back in yesteryear. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so the radio reading service originally here in the United States, there were specialized radio subcarrier frequencies that used to be commercial use. They would be paid for, kind of like modern times XM Sirius satellite radio. You would pay a fee for that and get commercial-free music. And this was very popular to make a cheap and easy way for you to have elevator music in elevators, or back in the old days in the Kmart or in the grocery store or whatever. And of course, later came 8-track tapes, cassette tapes, lots of reel-to-reel music, and things that made it much, much, much cheaper and not have to pay a monthly fee to the radio station for this special service. So all that equipment was left over along with the subcarrier frequency range, and that's where people jumped in and said, this is something we could really implement and use for those with visual or other print impairments who can't read a newspaper, can't read maybe a particular magazine or the like. And so across the United States in the 70s and 80s, a lot of these radio reading services popped up, and it's pretty amazing. Still here in the Roanoke Valley, WVTF Radio IQ continues to have volunteers come in every day here in my local area and read the Roanoke Times newspaper and other local periodicals and things of that nature. And the nonprofit here, Goodwill, the New Vision program, works in conjunction with them to distribute those radios and to supply the schedule. So you know what's coming on every day at 9 a.m. or 10 o'clock at night or whatever, right? And so you know when to be beside your radio. But with the advent of the internet and a new provision from WVTF and Radio IQ and this radio reading service, you can listen to it over the internet. Now, many radio reading services across the United States and even in other parts of Virginia here have been doing this and do this as well. And some of them even have a Lady Skills that you can use on your Amazon Echo. But let's say maybe your radio reading service does not or doesn't yet. How can you listen to maybe that stream, like a private stream that wouldn't be listed in a main database anywhere? Well, there's a great app or skill that allows you to link it to a proprietary feed or audio internet streaming station, and it's called MyPod. So if you know how to add skills, you'll want to do this or have somebody help you on a computer or tablet. And you could go to alexa.amazon.com, and you could click on skills. And then from there, you could add the MyPod skill. Now, I think it's going to require you to go to a different website for the MyPod service, and perhaps even create a temporary account. But it doesn't cost anything, at least not when I set mine up. And from there, you can add a custom feed. In this case, it's the radio reading service that we have here in Southwest Virginia in the Roanoke Valley and the NRV and the like. And after that's all set up, it is super easy. So if you like, here I'll demonstrate it, but first you might want to shut your ears off on your Amazon Echo at home by pressing the button on the top as the little silhouetted microphone with a slash through it. That way, when I give the command here in the studio, I'm not tripping up your Amazon Echo at home. So I'll just give you a second to do that. And if you have an Echo with a screen on the front, it's the button on the top left if the screen is facing you. Okay? And it should make a thump sound, and you should also see a red ring if you have one of the traditional Echoes. So just give you a second to do that. Okay. All right. So all I have to say is, Alexa, open MyPod.
Resuming reading service.
Dyslexia, psychopathy.
So there we go.
A complete list.
So wait, lefties have a higher incidence
Alexa?
of all these things?
Yeah.
Stop. So what are the benefits of this? Well, you might have an A-Lady device or the like that's portable with a battery pack. You could take it out on a porch with you. You can get a much higher fidelity music. You might also be able to connect it to Bluetooth headphones or other things like that. So you get a lot more versatility when you get the feed this way. And more importantly, in my instance with our nonprofit, you can send the radio back to us and we can make sure somebody gets it who is in a zone where they otherwise don't have good internet, where they could use this kind of feature. But anyway, you might want to check with your local radio reading service provider, usually through the public radio station, and just see if you're a person with a visual impairment about this provision. Maybe your local radio reading service provides it. Anyway, so that draws it to a close, this specialized episode dealing with this very unique feature that you can use on the Amazon Echo. Obviously, you could use this with other things, like I have a private news feed that I support through Patreon. You could maybe paste that in there, or other similar private music or podcast feeds. Anyway, till next time, we're going to be talking next episode about new Amazon devices. That's right. There's a whole bunch of new Amazon Echo and A-Lady devices that were released in the fall of this fall. And so you're going to learn a lot about that. But until then, it's time to turn your microphone back on, start practicing some of the many things that you've learned. And I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, signing off, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.